Hello, Gemini. How's everybody doing today? I hope that you're doing well. Really looking forward to sharing all the messages that have been coming through today for January 2021. Can you believe we're already looking at energy for the new year? I think we're all happy because this has been a crazy year. So thankfully, I've been noticing a nice shift energetically. I just wrote my newsletter yesterday. And so, by the way, if you haven't signed up for that, that's a great way to stay in touch and get a list of all the new upcoming times. I'm going to put Apollo down. And what I was noticing there was a really good energetic shift coming through, and it's carried through into the past few readings, and yours is no exception. So I'm looking forward to sharing all of the messages that I have here channeled here, and as well as whatever the cards reveal. So let me introduce myself just in case there's anybody new. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh, and we'll be reading today for the sign of Gemini for the month of January 2021. But I separate this into a few parts, and at the beginning I have channeled messages which really are relevant whenever you watch this. So if you're tuning in early, looking at this in December like most of us are, perfect, because the channeled messages are going to help you navigate into the opportunities. Same thing with the messages coming through. And you may find that whenever you watch this, that's really when the things are starting to kind of manifest in your life. So I like to show up early and give you this way ahead of time so that for those of you that are planners like myself, you've got it. Otherwise, you can wait and watch it in January if you want to. The different parts of the reading are as follows. I start with channeled messages. I received this through a combination of different channels. So for me, it's dreams, meditations, and also I show up here about an hour and a half early and I just start writing. And so a lot of this comes through my channeled writing, which is a great way, by the way, to connect with your intuition. And then after we go through this, we'll take a look at the cards today. And basically, that's going to help us navigate to look at the high-level opportunities and even some of the potential challenges so that you can pick the best path. I'm here to kind of show you that roadmap and give you options. And you're going to basically the one in the driving seat that's going to make the decisions. I like to then go to an expanded forecast focusing on health, wealth, love, and destiny. This way, what's in the center is going to really be whatever needs to come through, whether that's more work or relationship or health, it doesn't matter. But we'll definitely hit upon all of those areas when we expand the forecast. After this, we'll do a quick review, and then I go into something I call the soul path. And the soul path is a chance to dig a little bit deeper into some of the big areas of growth or opportunity that will reveal themselves today. And then we'll meditate, listen to a singing bowl, and then wrap up. Okay, so that's the overarching format for today. One thing that I'd like to remind everybody is that I'll be doing an extra video this month. I think I'm going to start doing this pretty regularly, but I'm going to do a collective one. This month, I'm going to focus it on opening up opportunities in the new year and also focusing on both love and abundance because they're very compatible energies. So whatever you're looking for, we'll kind of pull a little bit of both in there. That means I will be pulling cards for love, but it's not the traditional kind of focus on that. It will be how you can call it into your life. And a little bit of that's actually in your reading today. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that. Special welcome to both of my moderators, Ryan and Maria. They're here to help you if you have any questions and keep this room kind of organized and in order. So thanks to both of them. And before I begin, one last note. I just want to say thanks to everybody for all the support that they always show, especially with Super Chat. I made a special point this month to upgrade a bunch of my Oracle cards, and I'll be getting some new decks, some new tarot decks as well. So if you want to show support on the live reading, you can do it by using this little icon here, Super Chat, and it will put your name and a picture up and hopefully a positive message. But you can also just send a sticker, and that's a really cool way to say thank you. And again, I have 4 decks, everything that will be in the expanded forecast. On replay, you can use the applaud button. And then on my website, there's an option. If you click on the main website, it says patron. And then from there, you can do something like PayPal, Patreon, or another one-time contribution if you'd like. All right, let's get into it and talk about, again, we're going to look at January right now. So as I was meditating, I've been really connecting with nature a lot over the past month. And I think every sign this month, I'm going to try to pull something from nature at the beginning to kind of have a totem, I'm calling it, something that will kind of connect you like your North Star, if you will. And what came to me was a firefly, which I love, actually. And when I was a kid, I grew up in the sort of Rockies, and then, well, until I was maybe eight, something like that, and then moved across country. And I remember as we drove across country, actually, I think when we were Indiana or Ohio or kind of going through that area, I saw my first firefly or fireflies. And as a little kid, that was like super amazing, because if you grew up in the mountains, you didn't really see that. It was too cold, and I don't know, the weather wasn't as compatible where I lived before. But when I saw these little creatures lighting up the night sky, I thought, this is magic. And I remember that we were visiting some friends, and we released them, but we put it in a jar for a second with holes on the top, just so I could see it, because I thought, what is this? And then we let it go. But it was a really, really cool sort of thing, and I never forgot that. And to me, they always are sort of a symbol of magic. What the main thing that this insect was kind of reminding us is to be your own light. There's a lot of other things here, and I'll go into that. But we're in a year right now where there is a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of sort of shadow energy, a lot of darkness sometimes in our thoughts and around us. So the firefly literally has this innate ability to just turn on the light, and we all do. It does it through breathing. I was doing a little research, and I think it sends oxygen into that cell and it activates it. And they have like 2 little receptors down there. But anyway, we can do the same thing. You can kind of like close your eyes and just breathe in energy and imagine that you're pushing out a more higher frequency than you started with. Remember that like attracts like, and light attracts light because of that. So you really want to broadcast your intention and elevate that intention as well. So it's so easy, trust me, to kind of get into that energy of things aren't going to get better. I'm so angry. I'm sick of this. These people are bothering me. That's just pushing, muting, dimming your light. So you want to instead say, I can get through this. I'm ready for something better. I'm going to start to set up the building blocks to make this better. I'm not going to let that person bother me. I'm focusing on something else. I'm going to change the channel. And as you start to do that, you light up. And when you light up, other people around you light up. So shine your light brightly, even if, and I would say especially when others cannot, will not, or don't know how to, because that's part of what we're supposed to be doing as light workers. We are the fireflies, right? So light it up, and then all of a sudden, instead of being scary and dark, the night is magical, and there's like these little stars and twinkling happening even in the darkest parts of the forest, right? You should be standing out. This is not a wallflower of insects. It's not there to blend in. There's a lot of things that blend in. The fireflies do not. And the other thing here is that you should be celebrating what makes you different, because that's what's going to make you seen, and it's going to help you stand out. It's going to help you maybe, get that job or get somebody's attention if you want to, sort of date someone or whatever. That's basically what the fireflies are doing, by the way, is it's a sort of mating dance that we're seeing when they light up. So the males are trying to attract the females, and that's kind of what that is. But as such, not only are these insects high frequency because they contain light in themselves, but they're also passionate, right? You can use the passion for whatever you want, but it's your charisma, your passion, and your willingness to smile or light up that's going to open up the opportunities that come through. So you can use it for love. You can use it for work. You can use it just to make people happier. You can use it to make yourself happier. But basically, the message here is you are the light. Be your own light. Don't look at it to try to find it in others. Don't get depressed because other people aren't shining. Sometimes they're waiting for you. That's the mating call there with one firefly has to light up to get that other one to kind of pay attention. So you're broadcasting on some levels this month, and you need to kind of be aware of that. How am I thinking? How am I feeling? How am I showing my energy? Because people are sort of noticing. And if you go high, they'll go high. If you go low, they'll probably meet you at that low frequency. There's always a lighter or a brighter side. Try to find that and focus on it. And 2 messages here. These got stuck together. So hold on. Oh, there's just an extra card. If you can't see your own light, then I can't either. Nobody else can. So shine. So that's, I think, a really important piece of this. And this is what can hold you back. This is what can happen with like 4 of Pentacles, right? Where you're kind of holding or withholding that energy. So definitely try to see your potential. Don't just try, see your potential, and then trust in that. And Apollo made sure that I could see him. He threw a bunch of toys behind me. But same sort of thing. If you don't make yourself seen, it's not going to happen. Anyway, that's what I'm getting on this. It's time next for you to move on. That was the next big message. I like that we have this insect that is capable of flight and movement and light. So the next message was a move. And if you read my newsletter for this month, we had some really auspicious signs. It was like the Star of the World and the Ten of Pentacles, I believe, that came through. So this is showing me a lot of what we're seeing with that is like growth and expansion. The message that I saw is that I actually saw propagation. I'm going to show you this in a second. First of all, you're more resilient than you know. And like propagating a plant, you can grow new roots. So let me bring up just some visual aids here. So I have a green thumb. I like growing plants. You don't always have to plant it by seed. You can also basically take a cutting. Sometimes you can grow it in water. Sometimes you can just put it in the ground. It kind of depends on what kind of flower it is, but kind of like this. Let me see if I can bring it up for you. Here it is. So it's sort of like that. You can basically just root things very easily. And the cool thing that I saw with kind of all of these is that you don't have to have roots, or if you've been plucked from a situation. Some of us have been plucked away from a job situation, from a romantic situation, from a living situation. You have the capacity to regrow. And we, as sort of living creatures on this planet, whether it's an insect or a human being or a plant, there's that survival instinct that kicks in, and you can put down new roots and you can try again. And that's what I saw with this. And I forgot to bring it up. For those of you that don't know what fireflies look like, because I didn't as a kid, that's kind of it. They have this beautiful greenish light, which is the color of the heart, which makes sense since they're these passionate insects. In daylight, they're just an average beetle. They're not even a fly, by the way. I wanted to just show a picture. And it's really cool. See if I can get another image here. Like when they're kind of flying at night, it really does look like these little green stars. So anyway, I meant to bring that up a second ago. All right, back to the propagation and the rooting message here. Even if you have this sort of sense that you're just tumbling around like tumbleweed, you are going to have an ability to start again, and know that this pruning that happened, whether it was your own choice or it was something that happened, like the universe was kind of pushing you out of something, that it's helping you detach from those old patterns and to get into something more stable. So this is going to promote growth, abundance, and new opportunities, even if it feels like, oh my gosh, everything just got torn away from me. Imagine that you're like that plant, and you can just put new roots down and say, but I can heal, I can make this work, and I'll grow even stronger because maybe where I'm at has more sort of like stability or more nutrients. It's going to support me in a better way. So anyway, you can get through this. That's the message here. The next sort of two messages have to do with growth and healing. One of the most common questions that I'll get is about intuition and developing intuition. So you can model what I'm doing here. Writing is great. And I don't always get it right on the first card. Sometimes I have to scribble it out or try again. That's automatic writing. It'll come to you, and you can sometimes it doesn't make sense, or you can save that and see if that card makes sense later. But basically just sitting down and writing whatever comes to your mind, that is a form of intuitive development. You don't have to necessarily see, hear, or feel it. You just put the pen on paper and start writing. I know it sounds crazy, but it works. It's not like what you see in like the movie The Others. There was this woman. You can do that. I remember there was an old seer and she was just scribbling on a paper. That is one way to do it. But mine is a sort of more present way where I know what I want to talk about. So I knew I wanted to talk about fireflies. And I kept writing things down this morning about what do they mean to me? What does this mean to the sign? What's coming through? So it's just a download in an organization. And then I organize the cards into messages. So you can do the same for yourself. It's an easy technique, okay? So you don't have to be sort of like the traditional medium in a movie. You can just use an index card that most English majors are familiar with and just start writing stuff down, okay? Anyway, tune into your dreams. One thing that I was seeing was that this is where it's almost like you're getting a skeleton key to fix things in your life, right? They're coming through the messages in dreams. And what I'd like you to do is not take them literally. So a lot of times, and don't verbatim write everything that happened. So if you had a dream and there were like 2 or 3 main things that triggered you, write down something like, let's imagine that Like, for instance, when I was seeing this rooting situation, or maybe you were in an embarrassing situation and a friend came in. Let's work on that one. You would just focus on the fact that you're feeling vulnerable, and did your friends support you or did they laugh at you? That's all that's kind of important with that situation. You were given a scenario and someone's coming in, and they're revealing their intention or their maybe how they're participating in the situation. Are they supporting, defending, or ridiculing you? So that is the intuitive kernel, not where you were, not what you were wearing, not all the other stuff. So just focus on how you felt, what you learned, and then sometimes the rest of it is just your mind trying its best to fill it in. The salient pieces stick out, and then you could just write down in your journal the name of the person and either like friend or let's talk, or I need to fix something with this situation, and you'll start to be able to develop from that. For those that have a hard time remembering, you should write it down. If you say you can't dream, then just meditate and do what I was talking about here, and then write down what's going on through your head. Dreams are great, but they take a while to start to kind of be able to actively realize, hey, I'm dreaming. I'm going to remember this. I'm going to write it down. Sometimes once you get more advanced at it, you can actually participate or kind of have an inquisition in the dream and say, who are you? Why are you here? What is the message? So that lucid dreaming comes with practice. So before you say, I can't, it doesn't happen, or it won't work, try it and give it time. Because if you say it won't work, it won't work. Your words create the reality on that one. So anyway, intuition takes many forms. Don't sort of tune out any potential form of input that might come through. You might hear a song on the radio and be triggered to have a memory. And that was a sort of synchronicity that happened. You were at the right place at the right time to remember that thing. That's a form of intuition, and that's a form of psychic connection. You might see a license plate number that reminds you of a birth date. You might see some sort of a billboard ad with something that somebody said once to you, and then you remember that, and that reminds you to do something else. These are all forms of intuition, and this is how spirit can manipulate things around us to help us see things. So trust that if you can't hear and see things yet, clairvoyantly, that the universe will show you things, and you can ask your guides, make it abundantly clear that I need to do this, this, or this, right? Anyway, that's the main message there. I think it's so important, and it's so difficult right now. So don't get upset if you're having a hard time. This is actually especially why this is coming through. If you can laugh, smile, or have fun, please do it. And if you can't, find someone who can help you get out of sort of a lower frequency. So because we need it right now, it's good to laugh. I'm actually flashing back to like Mary Tyler Moore, which really, I don't know. I watched reruns before. I'm not that old. It was on like Nick at Night, but there was an episode where they're at a funeral and they're laughing, and that I know that's happened before. Like when you're kids, there's serious situations or stressful situations, and you giggle, and it's not appropriate, but because it's inappropriate is why it's helpful, because it releases the tension. And I think right now, crying and laughing, super important. So if you're feeling this sort of bottled up energy, find a way to laugh at what you can, like, remember the good times. I had to eulogize someone once, a family member, and this was a while ago, maybe like 15 years ago. And they were a practical joke person. There was no way that I could not eulogize them and sort of ignore the fact that they told jokes, and most of them were bad. And so I kind of said that at the funeral, and everyone smiled, and it broke the tension. And I remembered the good and the crazy part of them, and it was authentic. And everyone needed a little giggle in this really serious moment, and it stopped them from crying, or then they laughed and then they cried and then they felt a lot better. So, I wish we could teach little kids, like, it's okay to cry, just like it's okay to laugh. And right now, I think whatever you can do, hopefully you can laugh though, that would help too, because remember some of the ridiculousness of 2022, because there's a lot of stuff that's going on that's ridiculous right now. And there's a lot of things that we'll one day be able to look back at and think that was crazy, and people were crazy, and we're going to be okay. All right. Joy and play are essential to spiritual and emotional health and growth. So finding that way to diffuse and to release will help. Okay. So watching a good comedy show, hanging out with a friend that has a good sense of humor, that has a good perspective, doing something that is not productive but makes you feel good. All of these things are great. So I'm giving you permission to have fun, and I'm giving you encouragement. You don't need my permission. So that's the basic messages there. So quick summary: be your own light. Don't be afraid to stand out. You can't be a wallflower right now. Passion is important. The Firefly reminded us of all of those things. It's probably time to move on or move up or move out from something. But the plant that I saw was reminding me that all of us have the potential to put down new roots. And your dreams are coming through with a lot of messages. So pay attention to them. Don't take them literally. Have fun, just like tarot cards, decoding them and figuring out what they mean for you. And try to have some fun. Apollo did, and I'm going to clean up his toys so you don't have to look at them here in the background. And then let's get into the messages here. All right. So I'm going to be quiet at this point because I really want to focus on what's coming through, and I will pull up each and every card afterwards. So give me a second to lay everything out, and let's get started. All right, everybody, thank you so much for giving me a moment there to get everything laid out. And I really like the Ganesha deck that I've been using this month to help us through any hurdles that we have, because Lord Ganesha assists with that. And this is a Hindu deity. I get a lot of questions like, who's Ganesha? So you should Google it. It's a great deity to connect with if you have any sort of feelings of being blocked. So I actually have, it's not close enough to the computer here, but I have a couple little statues with this particular deity. So we have sustenance here. You're going to have enough, but does it feel good? This is also, to me, kind of a connection to fulfillment. So this is saying you have enough, but are you connecting to what it is? Is it feeding your heart and your soul? Because abundance also has to do with that feeling like you are growing, you are supported, you are sustained. Just have trust in the fact that there will be enough. And that's part of this message too. So we all fall victim to that, myself included sometimes, where it's just a feeling of like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to make it happen? How is this going to work? If you can just trust that you're being supported, then the universe is also kind of presenting a map, we're looking at it today, to help you through that, then you're going to be okay. It's just then choices. The choices become the sort of challenging thing, because you have to make a judgment call when those choices come up. But I do really feel like the genuine message here is that you have enough. And now as you start to make the choices, it is, how do I feel? Am I fulfilled? Will this sustain me on the long term? So is this a sustainable choice or a lifestyle or like if you're at a job where you're working, a 70-hour work week, that's not sustainable forever. And so that's where that choice, that kind of balance it's lacking. So there are some choices here, and a reminder that you can always make it work. You will have enough. You just have to sort of trust in that internal skill, your Firefly light, basically, right? All right, so we have a couple of interesting cards here at the center. I like the first one. The second one is the warning on it. So the first one here we have is the Nine of Wands, which is a really beautiful card of ascension here. And sometimes the Nine of Wands or the 10 of Wands can feel a little bit like you're getting beaten up, or it's sort of like a burden. In this one, every single step of the journey has brought you closer to your goal. Really, it is a beautiful card saying you're almost there. Don't give up. We have a stairway here to heaven or to the moon. So you have to keep that sort of insight that even when you're dealing with the negative stuff, which can sometimes come through with moon type energy. I love the moon, but the moon card in tarot can sometimes carry that territorial energy, or the Nine of Wands can be a card where you've been kind of through the blender a couple of times through a situation. But guess what? You are better because of those challenges, because of that difficult stuff that you've been through. And this card is saying, don't give up. You're almost there. And I agree. What you want to do this month is to really be careful with like a no-win situation. So we have the 10 of Swords here, and looks like we have like a bull here in the, it's hard to see it. But basically, you don't want to get stubborn. You don't want to kind of get into a space where you're having a difficult time seeing it from another perspective. If you're dealing with someone that has that energy, this is something where it's better to not necessarily say all of that. There are some arguments that the person's almost waiting or baiting you to kind of get into. And I think that this is an avoidable situation. Take the high ground, take the high road, and bypass this. Just go over one of the steps. Skip a step and go to the next one. You don't have to kind of learn this lesson. You've already learned it, or you're showing up today so you don't have to go through it. So don't go low if someone else is trying to trigger you with something that's hateful or something that is closed-minded. Don't feel like it's you. A lot of times we just see people that can't allow themselves to see something in a positive light. Your goal is to keep ascending, okay? So there is one little test that the universe is going to go through or throw your way, and you're just going to say, not this, not today, no thank you. Pause that extra step at the stoplight and avoid whoever's coming in your, it's trying to cross your path. Let them go and let them try to teach the lesson to somebody else, because you've already assimilated that message. But we occasionally get these little tests, which is, have you learned everything? Are you ready? Do you understand? It is important, however, to speak your truth. We have Queen of Swords or Mother of Swords in this deck, and she's reversed, but this is the owl kind of looks sassy to me when I'm looking at it. So I think the important thing here is to speak your truth, but you don't have to prove that you're right or say that you're right, because people that are normally either a really strong leader or are in the right, they don't have to prove it. It's going to kind of all equal out in the end. So trust in that, but don't be afraid to say no to somebody or to call out something that's happening, or in this situation, just say, we're not going to talk about that, or we're done now, and move on after that. Also, if there's anything that you are overly critical about towards yourself, this is reminding you to be a little bit more balanced. And, Queen or King of Swords usually can indicate a more balanced person, like a lawyer, and I think of like the scales of justice. So I want you to kind of balance things out a little bit with this and see it from a positive side, not just a critical side. We're often our own worst enemies here. Now on to recent past, we have the Daughter of Wands here, and in this deck that would be a page. And so I like that we have the sort of infinity sign here, and it's showing you now that I feel some of you are creating a new cycle here in your life. And I saw that when I was channeling the newsletter for December, and I think that energy is going to flow into January, which we're looking at now. So I really want you to stay focused on creation and don't give up and don't stop, because basically we have to continue to create some new ideas. So you're going to innovate yourself out of the situation, whatever situation you're in, and your thoughts are going to bring you there. This is also a somewhat protective pose over this wand. So I would say if there's an idea that's worth protecting, definitely do that. So if you need to, get some sort of a legal protection or contract around like a patent or something like that, perfect. Or if you want to make sure that you trust somebody, get some sort of a secure non-disclosure agreement, et cetera, et cetera. But anyway, I like this. And of all the wands cards, this is a great and gentle energy towards organization. Definitely is compatible with teamwork. The king, the queen, the knight sometimes can get a little bit overbearing, but the page is really great for developing things and bringing them to the next level. So I think this is going to be a good period of time, the next 6 weeks or so, for you to really take something and, like I saw with that plant that's propagating, give it some roots, let it start to grow, and you might be surprised. That is actually supported with what we see here in the very portal-like Three of Wands. I like this one because it almost reminds me of something that you would scry into or see something, and you're seeing the prism and all the possibilities here. I'm a big proponent of active Three of Wands cards, and this one is for certain just that. So see the positives, see all the different possibilities here. We're not limited to just one color, one light, one vista. The things are happening now. And the Three of Wands is as much a sort of confirmation that things are happening as it is an encouragement for you to be creating them. It's an active card. So it is perspective, it is perseverance, and it's also confirmation that you're on the right track. This is your crowning card. So this should be right up here around your third eye. You should be seeing the possibilities, okay? Because that's kind of how I treat the crowning card. It'll either be here or it'll be here, so that you are keeping that elevated energy in that space, okay? But stay positive and you'll create positivity. We have the Chariot card here, upright, very auspicious that it's upright. This is encouraging you to take ownership of things that are important to you, to not be afraid to, if you need to course correct or do something, you can do it. This is basically just bringing things into order. I like it. There's nothing really bad about this. The great and most kind of intriguing piece of this particular chariot is we only see one horse. So it's, to me, independent and entrepreneurial. So there may be a point at which you realize that to get something finished, you might have to be the one that not only champions it, but maybe sees it all the way through to fruition. So if you can do a teammate activity, great. But if not, you also have what it takes to do it on your own. And this is a very solitary chariot. The horse seems happy and seems free and ready. And that's the cool thing, that it's not tethered by a chariot. Really, it is the vehicle, basically. And we are that. That's the other thing that kind of comes through with this. Sometimes you focus more on the vehicle when you're looking at a traditional chariot. But the truth of the matter is, symbolically, you are the chariot. So you embody that capability to bring things to the next level. So both messages are part of that. Now, perspective is going to be very important here. And I like that we kind of see the high and the low energies here. And so the important thing, this is why I was saying, try to find a way to laugh or to look at the positive, because we see all of that. Actually, it's interesting that, like, when I bring it back, you can't see the cups. I have to kind of bring it close because of the lighting. But that's part of this too. If you just look at this, you can't actually see what's possible. So this is a perspective card. Some of you are in a point where it's normal, it's natural to grieve, but I want you to also find what's coming through as a lesson, or what is still there that you can kind of celebrate. The interesting thing with this one that I don't know if I agree with, but it might just, again, be sort of like you have a choice in how you want to fill the cups. Normally you would see a couple of them spilled, and usually three of them spilled and a couple of them up. But with this, they're all empty, and you get a choice to fill it with the darkness or the light. So what are you looking for in your life? How do you want to fill those cups up? This one doesn't have any of them spilled. So it's really a choice of what you want to put in your thoughts and in your life. You're the illustrator in this one. I like this deck because there's a balance of light and dark, and there's also a balance of black and white and color. It's called Wild Unknown. I think one of my moderators probably put that up. But okay, so we have the Six of Wands here. I'm sorry, the Four of Wands here. And with the Four of Wands, this is beautiful too. This is another sort of portal card, and it almost reminds me of the iris of an eye when you look at this one. So we have the Three of Wands, which is in the crowning position, and this is in your environment. What a great card for the environment, because Four of Wands is something that will come through for stable relationships or good foundations. It's an attractive energy showing me that you can pull in really positive partnerships as well. So if you're looking for love, if you're looking for a partner, if you're looking for a business opportunity, all of these things are boding well. And also, because we have this big sort of iris at the center, people are what you see. So both, like, if you can see positive in yourself, they can see that. Also, you want to look past your expectations of the person and use your third eye to really sort it out, because we can also be blocked by our own sort of expectations. So really look beyond the obvious and go a level deeper. In my newsletter and on my Instagram page, you'll be able to see like the Nine of Pentacles in this deck. Someone was like, there's only, or the Ten of Pentacles, they said there's only 9, but there's actually a hidden one in the center. So with this one, I also see a hidden sort of perspective. You've got to look beyond what's in front of you and see the potential, and also see what's kind of beneath the surface. So in your relationships, because this is environmental, there could be someone who loves you. There could be someone who wants to support you, or that you need to kind of reevaluate like the balance, because we have the Four of Wands reversed. So when it's reversed, how much are you giving? How much are they giving? Is there a need to sort of bring that in a greater balance? But I read it as an auspicious card, even reversed. So it could just mean a slight delay on a partnership coming through. And some of this has to do with maybe even understanding what's going on in their life at the moment. Being more present and getting to know the people around you, that's the main message there, so that you can understand how to work better with them, okay? And what their intentions are. Nothing negative about it though, just slow down a little bit with relationships. We'll look more in a moment when I go into love, but I like that card overall. Temperance. Notice how this bird is kind of fanning its own fire, its own flame, just like we were talking about with the Firefly. And by taking your time and not getting overly excited about things, you can kind of have this slow burn happening. Don't burn yourself out. Don't go overboard. This is where you can avoid the energy of the Ten of Swords or the Queen of Swords in reverse. It's taking that extra moment before going going into overdrive, right? I think the same thing is true with the Four of Wands right underneath it. Just take your time this month. It's not a bad thing. And overall, I like it. I never noticed this before, but it kind of looks like there are tears going over the fire. Notice these little tears coming down. So we have the element of both water and fire. I was wondering, where is the water? Because normally you would see 1 foot in, 1 foot out. So what I would say here is, what's great is that the tears haven't put out the fire. So if there's anything that's sad, if there's any loss that you've experienced, the fire is still alive. The ability to create is still there. And this is kind of like, it is almost as if it's a phoenix energy, because you see all the rainbow of energy around it. So take your time. Healing takes time. Keep moving, and don't let the flame disappear. It really hasn't. Just know that it's there. All right, and then we have a nonconformist Hierophant reverse card that wanted to flip onto the floor here. So we have a crow, it looks like, or a raven, and it's holding this skeleton key, and the card was reversed. So it's saying that, first of all, you always had the power, even if you didn't know it. Some of you might be deciding to take back that power. Some of you might be guided to go into a different direction, to follow your own voice. This is spirit coming through. It's coming through in dreams, but it could also be coming through just in your thoughts. And I feel like what you're supposed to do is go counter to the flow of basically like an organization, maybe your parents, maybe someone who would normally call the shots. You have this idea that, no, there is a better way. based on the illustration, I actually think you're headed in the right direction. You do hold the key to solve something. Your idea may have merit, and you want to develop it a little bit further. I think how you communicate it is really important, and that's why we kind of have this patience, temperance card here. And then when you're ready, you can articulate and stick to the facts and don't get argumentative. And I think you'll be able to make your point, stake your claim, and make a difference. Because ultimately, with the crowning card, we have the Three of Wands. And if you can partner with somebody, I think you could be even stronger on this. You can still be the person that's leading the charge, literally, but if you have someone behind you that's also going to be able to back you up, it's going to be a lot stronger. So you have help. Are you ready to take it? You can make a change, but you don't have to do it alone. And following your voice is going to be really important, but you have to find a way to communicate it that can be received by others. In relationships, the Hierophant reverse can be a controlling card. So as you start to attract new people, since we saw the Firefly energy, you really want to focus on owning your power and not being afraid that you're going to call that in again. Just think, no, I've learned and incorporated that lesson. So I'm just ready for someone who likes an independent or a strong person, and we're not going to kind of like butt heads. Let's go ahead and expand the forecast. We're going to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny and get some additional insights into what we just looked at. I'm using a plant deck for health this month, and we have the pink rose. I'll pull it closer to the camera in a second. I just need to read it. It says, grace and sweetness, the pursuit of perfection, then is the pursuit of sweetness and light. So pink is a really great color to use in your auric field to create a positive energy in a conflict negotiation, in a love situation. It's a nice thing that you can imagine that you're sort of like throwing out and blessing that person with. It's a reason that, you can have like rose quartz. It's hard to get the picture. Yeah, maybe if I do this, you can see the color a little bit, but it's the same sort of color. This is great if you're just trying to sort through some heavier energies and you want to get some of that sort of feeling of being suppressed or depressed, or having that energy there and kind of like take that away. It's also reminding you that you can get more with like honey than vinegar. So you think of a rose and the fragrance is quite pleasant and quite sweet. And by kind of putting in something positive before perhaps there's a critical piece or a piece of advice, you can go a lot further. So all of these things are great. It's in health, so you can actually get rose water. I believe you can cook with it. There are consumable forms of it. So this is a great thing too if you're trying to bring about that sense of self-love, if you're trying to attract energy into your life like that as well. So, and I believe there are types of jams where you can actually use the fruit from the rose to, you can cook with it. So it might be something, if you don't have any allergies or whatever, that you could explore either in an essential oil that you smell, or maybe if there is a consumable form like rose water or the fruit that's put into jam. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that that's something that you could put in your diet. It might be nice. It's plant magic, if you will. So roses are great for all of those things. Looking now a little bit at just the cards for additional health messages. So I do believe that one of the things that would help some of you was just stress management. The Nine of Wands, as I said earlier, is kind of like a survivor card. And for some of you, there could even be things like PTSD or anxiety, or even just literally feeling a sense of, I'm not sure if I can do this, needing a little bit of motivation. And if there's anyone in your life that has verbally abused you or kind of is in your current situation, this can be a boss, by the way, it doesn't have to be in the family. So if there's someone around you that just isn't using their words in the right way, it's really important to get help on this and try to find the right channel to make this stop, because that can be a Hierophant reverse. That can be a abusive power. So whoever that is, it's time to rectify that situation, to reclaim your power, and hopefully to stop that person from doing that to other people. So if it's a boss, go to HR. If it's a parent or someone else, get help. And otherwise, what we're seeing here with health is just to take control and to make some smart choices and to try to be patient with yourself as you create these new changes in your life. Like I saw with the plant that was creating new roots, it takes time. Like the rose that requires a lot of pruning to grow, the sacrifices and the changes that are going on right now are actually necessary. My mom used to grow these, and so did my grandfather. Multiple colors, not just the pink one, but you have to, at certain times of the year, cut back the dead growth, and you have to, they're very picky. You have to like get all of the bugs off of them, change the soil, fertilize them. High maintenance, kind of like an orchid, worth the work, but definitely requires a lot of TLC. So take care of yourself, do these things. And even if it's a pain for you to go through them, whatever the rituals of your own health are, it's okay, or is, I should say, it's okay. But some of that is cutting off the toxic relationships or the things that aren't feeding you anymore. All right, let's look at wealth. Where are you going? It says sacred plan. If you have a plan and if you have a vision, 3 of Wands, you can manifest pretty effectively through the course of January and even December if you're watching early. But it helps if you know. And part of that is tuning in. And it's sort of like an internal knowing. The other piece with this is, because we're looking at wealth, which is career and money and school and life purpose. Trusting that everything is part of a cosmic plan is going to be good. But you can make it a clearer, cleaner, more fulfilling journey if you are an active participant rather than, I hope it all works out, and then just kind of like go whatever way you want to go. So this is really talking about your ability to be like a high priestess energy and manifest and sort of manipulate and work with that energy so that you are actively sort of weaving your own future as well, because you can and you will. So that's really what this card is about. Take an active interest. Don't feel like you are helpless. If you were pushed away from a situation, a layoff, a furlough, a company folding, because all of those things are happening right now, that's because your time at that place was done on a soul level. It may not be ideal because you need to pay the bills and put food on the table, but you can recover, and it feels like you have to recover quickly, and you're going to be okay. If you're in another situation, and just like a plant, or like if you were rooting that thing, like we were looking at that cutting, at a certain point, it has to get out of that jar. It has to go into the ground too. So you might be in a place where you're being suffocated. So even if the job is okay, you need room to grow. So I feel like growth and pruning are coming through in both health and also in career, and then realizing I can still create more. I can make something of this. It's like also taking scraps of clothing and creating something new from it. So all these scraps are going to be the foundation of the next thing for you. There's nothing negative with respect to money, but there's also no pentacles. This happens rarely, but it does happen. So an absence of pentacles in a spread sometimes means that the attention is just in a different area, or it could mean that you could focus a little bit more on that area to grow it. So figure out what works for you. I do think that being in control and perhaps going counter to what's traditionally expected of you might be part of your success. This is not the end. This was at the center. It was literally the beginning. So whatever fell away, whatever difficulty you might be going through when you hear this or after you hear this, that was just a button to start the process anew, right? It really brings about opportunity. Looking at love and relationships, we have study and learning. It says, thank you for allowing me to see that every day is a learning day. Common message here. So some of you may be deciding either what I did before isn't the best use of my skills. I want to increase my skills. I want to go back to school. I don't want to continue with this degree that I'm in. I want to try something different. I want to take some time off. There's something that's recalibrating about knowledge and skills, because that's basically what we see with this card. So are you using the skills that you would like to be using? Do you want more? Do you want to change your major? Do you want to go back to school? As I've said, I don't care if you're 11 or 111 or 7 or 77, pick your ages. But you can always do this. You can always kind of repackage or refocus. Until you stop breathing, you still have a capacity to grow, to learn, and to do something worthwhile on this planet. So what I'm basically saying, for those of you that comment and saying, I'm too old, or I'm close to retirement, or this or that, there are no guarantees. If you are unhappy, that is something you have to really pay attention to, because you can't put a price on happiness, fulfillment, and health. And that's part of the equation. Look at what we got, the star again. This is coming up a lot recently. The star was reversed. It was upright in the December reading. For you, your sign for January, it's reversed, but the star is positive. So let's just look at it in its upright position. Basically, this is you standing out and being your highest possible frequency and vibration. And notice that this is a sort of winter star. We see snowy mountains here and it's nighttime. So this is really appropriate for Northern Hemisphere at this point in time, because that's why we kind of see this symbology around December. We need that guiding light. We need that guiding star. I actually think we're going to have an alignment of a couple of planets that it's going to create a star like this at Christmas, but it's really two of the planets. So right around the last week of December, there's going to be some really strong energies that are going to allow you to align to your soul's path. So if you're watching this ahead of time, awesome. If not, January is the time to really step out. Don't edit yourself. Don't mute your light. Don't be a wallflower. Basically shine, stand out, speak your voice, speak your sort of truth, I should say. And other people are going to find that compelling. This is your time. Also, we need to shine. So whether it's stars or fireflies or just you, this is the time for integration to happen. And that's really why the star keeps coming through. We've had a dark year, but the cards are showing a very different energy consistently for January. It's not all perfect. We still have some things we have to work through, but it's not bad. These are good messages that I'm seeing. I'm seeing a shift. I've been feeling a shift too. So let's focus on how to make that happen in our lives, and then less about all of the craziness that we're still working through. All right, let's go ahead and review the messages, and then we're going to go a little bit deeper into the soul path. As I look at this, I want to kind of help us through the difficult stuff. So I'll take a look at what this is about. I want to help you maybe with the control issues and then the star. So we'll see. Let's go ahead and review quickly, and then we'll get into the next portion. Okay, so as I was tuning into your totem this month, it was from the insect kingdom. It was the firefly. And basically the message here is to be yourself, to be your own light, even and especially if you can't see that elsewhere. Like attracts like, light attracts light. So I want you to broadcast your intentions and see yourself as like a satellite that is putting out positivity and possibility rather than negativity. Shine your light, like I said, even if or especially when others do not or cannot. You can and should be standing out, right? That's you. That's going to help you be seen. That's going to help you also maybe have people see what your other potential skills are. Differentiate. Celebrate what makes you different. Don't try to be like part of the crowd. You don't have to fit in. I think we're past that. And there's so much competition for attention, I think, especially next year, that you have to have something that really makes you compelling. And that is just by being yourself. That's being the star. Passion. Passion is a part of fireflies. So if you're looking for love, we actually saw it here with the Four of Wands. Take your time. Just don't get head over heels too quickly with somebody or something. If you're looking for a partnership, the same holds true. Your charismatic energy can be channeled into either work or love. That's one thing that differentiates the way that I read. I don't think it's all about your person. I think you are the person. And if you want other people in your life, awesome. So you can choose what to do with that passion. This is going to attract the opportunities that you're interested in. So again, broadcast what you want. There's always a lighter and brighter side. Even the laughter that I was talking about, that's part of this as well. If you can't see your light, I can't either. Turn it on, shine, and see what people think. You've got to take a little risk and a little leap of faith with that. It's probably time to move on, up, out, or away from something. Movement. That was something I saw in the newsletter as well. So I think it's time for that. You're more resilient than you may give yourself credit for being. So just trust in that. And like a plant that's been cut and is being rooted and propagated, you can put down new roots, even if you don't have them right now. That doesn't mean that they won't come back. That doesn't mean that you're going to always be in this sort of like tumbleweed sort of energy. We've all had periods where we have to like move in with a friend or move in with family, or we're between jobs. That's normal. That between time is when you really are at your, not only your most vulnerable, but your most powerful, because you're not stuck either. So see yourself as being free. Now is also a time to prune and detach from old patterns and codependencies and negative energies that are trying to hold you back. You are the gatekeeper. You have the key. This will promote new growth and abundance in your life, like the rose that we saw here. Tune into your dreams. Messages are coming through. If you have a hard time remembering or decoding them, you can also meditate, but try to write stuff down and see if you can work on lucid dreaming. It comes with time and it comes with practice. With that being said, intuition is not something that works with just one channel. The more that you do it, the more that you open up, and it becomes like a prism, P-R-I-S-M, not prison, prism, where there are multiple, it's like this, what we're looking at right here, prismatic. So open up to all the different channels of light. If you can laugh, smile, or have fun, do it, or find someone that can help you do it, because it's going to help you go into a higher frequency and also take out any of that lower energy and transmute it. Joy and play are essential to work, essential to mental health, essential to growth. I wish that we had playtime in offices. Like, it's silly that we're not allowed to even take a lunch break sometimes. I hope that through the pandemic, that's one thing that's changed, is that people trust us to do our job and to take 45 minutes or an hour and a half if we have to, and then get the work done. All right, sustenance. Do you feel like what you have is enough? If you don't, is it perspective? Is it fear? Is it doubt? Because Ganesh is telling you you're going to have enough. You're going to be able to put those roots down. But there's an under, sort of the surface message here of, are you fulfilled? And that can be sometimes where you don't feel like it's enough, right? But I already see a sign here that there is enough, right? You've come so far, is what we see with this. Don't let one negative person take you off that path. It's like someone who just has to act up. There's always one, right? That's not going to get you triggered this time. Feels like some of you have some important things to say, a truth that needs to be said, maybe someone that you have to stand up to. You have support. You don't have to do that alone. Find your words and take your time to articulate yourself and stick with the facts. That's going to help you out. Don't be overly critical of yourself. Your thoughts create a new cycle of abundance. Protect them, embrace them, develop them. Change is happening. Can you see it? Are you ready to see it? Look for the positive. You might be entering a space in which you're going to be doing more of the work on your own. You are always capable of doing that, even if others said that you couldn't. Perspective, it's all about perspective. Are you looking at the darker or the lighter energies? There's a balance between the two. You don't have to binarily sort of put it like here or here. So maybe walk the middle and figure out, sometimes it's this, sometimes it's that. Try to find the middle ground. This is really important for relationship harmony. I believe you both can find that common ground. This reminds me of like a Venn diagram where you can kind of see what you have in common and where it is. Both of these are perspective cards. And so perspective in relationships is going to be ever so essential. It is possible to find love this month. I think the important things is, as we look at this diagonal, is both of you are independent. Both of you are strong. Both of you are complete. If you have that sort of energy of balance, you're going to be okay. This is attached to possibilities or fears. There could be a fear that controlling energy could re-enter, but I believe you've integrated and moved beyond that. Take your time and don't be afraid to do both. Here we have like tears and we have fire. So again, it can be joy and laughter, as I was saying, or passion. And sometimes this feeling of the in-between, I think, is going to be more important. You don't have to go to the extremes. But find a way to kind of feed the flame, feed your passion, find what makes you feel a sense of fulfillment, not just sustaining. Finally, you're supposed to buck the trend. You're supposed to do your own thing. You're supposed to speak up. Find the time to do it when it's, when lightning strikes, when the moment is right, you'll know. Your voice is supposed to be heard too. You very rarely can't hear a crow or a raven. They're loud birds. And so your voice is supposed to stand out this month. We talked about all the myriad things that roses can indicate. The things that make sense to me for you in health are that some things need to be pruned out or cut out. You actually can consume certain types of rose products. So you might want to put that in your diet if you want to bring about a change in demeanor or to attract new people. And the other thing is that we all have thorns, right? there are positive sides, the blossom, the rose, then there are the thorns. So this is about trying to take the good with the bad and forgive yourself and forgive others. You're an active participant in your life. Be the high priestess. Just be more empowered. Part of that is going to be taking more of a role of leadership. And this kind of bubbles over into relationships. So, with relationships this month, there are lessons to be learned. And so for many of you, you might be calling in a teacher rather than a partner. Or you could be not looking for love and you might find it at work. I think the important thing here is to figure out what the lesson was, especially if it's a karmic relationship. Once you've learned that, then you have a choice to stay or to go. What else can you learn? What else can you teach? What else can you celebrate with each other? But there's an overlap and there's more of a focus on work this month, which is why I didn't really go too much into relationships when I was first reading this. I will say, looking at relationships this month, there is a sort of imbalance. And I think this is where the opportunity comes for you this month. The past, we see this controlling or critical energy. And the present, or the recent past, I should say, we have this sort of, it's more kind of thoughtful energy, less communicative, less action-based. So I feel like if you're in a relationship, there could be a partner that is more just speaking from the top of their head without thinking. There's another one that's much more thoughtful. And I feel like the two of you are going to have to find a balance between that. For yourself, for aspects of yourself, again, tempering the critical with the more thoughtful sides and looking at maybe positive stuff. And as I'm kind of rubbing my hands together, that's the flame that you want to create, is this positive energy. Finally, you are that which you seek. That's why it's not so important. That's why I don't read about your person as much. When I look at your person would come here, 4 of Wands, you're fine. But this is you. So why are you muting your light? That's what I would question. Don't be afraid. This person should celebrate you. Whether that's a coworker, a brother, sister, or a lover, you should be able to shine. And that's the big lesson with relationships this month and with your own personal path towards empowerment is, can you shine? Are you ready to shine? Okay. So let me take a quick drink and then we're going to go a little bit deeper into the soul path and I want to look at what the 10 of Swords is about, crossing the 9 of Wands. What is this potential trigger and how can you avoid it? Okay, we have the Moon card, which was something that I kind of sensed, if you remember back at the beginning with this. So if we look at the center, it was reversed, but I'm going to hold it upright so we can see it. So the Moon is not bad. The Moon is our base, the most basic source of our intuition. So instinct comes through as kind of like our first sixth sense. We just know it, we feel it, we trust it. I want you to go to that very basic sense of intuition and instinct. And when you first meet someone or when you first decide, should I do something, you will know. There have been situations, countless situations in my life where I can walk into maybe like a potential apartment that you want to rent, like, not here, this energy is wrong. You walk into a workplace, you think, I'm not going to stay here. You meet somebody and you think this person's trouble. The reverse, like, oh my God, I just met a future best friend. Or we have to put an offer in on this house, or whatever it is. You will know when you meet a good opportunity or a challenging one. The question with the Moon is, are you ready to face that truth? So face the truth and face the difficult part of it, because it's actually a blessing. And the Moon comes through to show us the true side of things, because it shines through illusions, right? It's a reflection. It's not true light. It's the sun reflecting on an object that has no light. But the reflective light helps us see the hidden pieces. And so the nocturnal messages that you're getting this month, again, are coming through pretty strong. So I want you to pay attention to how you feel at night, what you're receiving in dreams. And then the other piece with this is territorial energy. We don't see the wolf and the dog like we normally would, but it's still there. We see the 2 trees and they still have that same energy. There's a separation. And it's interesting that this is almost an inverse, right? Like I would expect the trees to be black and the sky to be maybe more a different color, maybe like twinkling or something. But what we're seeing here is 2 energies standing their ground. And you see the same sort of thing in a traditional moon card with the territory. And it's like somebody has to cross the line, or somebody has to make a move for something to happen. So it's a delicate balance with the moon, because both people are kind of protecting what's important to them. So I think what you could do in a relationship, first of all, you have to be transparent. You have to talk about hopes and fears. And if there's something that has been going wrong, that has to be brought to light. But the other piece of it is, and I can't remember, was it Aries that I talked about with this? I think it was. There's no winner or loser. So if you could just see both of you as being on the same side, you're both trying to resolve something, this will make the moon a fantastic energy, okay? Divine Feminine, very creative. So own your power. And High Priestess, definitely connected with that. A lot of times you'll see the sort of crescent moon on her third eye. So it's all good. Your intuition and creativity off the charts, but you need to listen to the instincts that are coming through as well. I like the moon, but there are a lot of pieces to it. And you have to look at like the rose and the thorn, both sides of it, okay? Take the good and the bad, not the bad. Take the good and the not so fun, and it'll all be okay. Trust and honesty are really important. So if you're in a relationship and the other partner has had a off and on relationship with the truth, that's another piece of this that you have to look at. Are they willing to change? And if not, why are you allowing that to continue? Let's take a look at, the Hierophant was the next one, the key that it's holding. What's the key to feeling like you're empowered, or that how can you unlock your potential? Let's put it that way. Ace of Pentacles, and I love this particular ace because we're looking at like the lines of a tree. So it's almost like we went into those trees that we were looking at here. And then you see this beautiful sort of star in the center. Okay, so the interesting thing with when you look at the lines of a tree, there are some years where there is a drought and you'll see like there's not as much growth. I feel like 2020 depends on how you look at it. This could either be a year where there's a ton of growth and it's a really big ring, or for some of us, we've been holding on and pulling back and it's going to be a really thin ring. So what I want you to do is to open up now and think like, I'm ready to grow. That's really what the ace is about. So can you open up and make this month and this year, because we're in a new year looking at this, a year of growth, even though you've come from a year where it's been so hard to do that. The ace is there. It's saying, no, it's a new start. You have to try to evolve with it. And just like the tree, this is one more year, one more ring. And it just keeps growing and it just keeps going. So imagine that you're like a redwood that can keep on keeping on. And this is just another ring and you're going to make it a better year. Now, for some of you, the Ace of Pentacles is a new job. It's you deciding to try to launch a product. When I was doing the newsletter for this month, I was looking at December, for those of you that are watching live, it was the world, which is publication, dissemination, distribution, being seen. I also got the star. So it's a really good combination if you want to just try something new. So whether that's going independent or trying a different route, because we're looking for disruptors right now. And a disruptor does something that is systematically not been done before. Like, to use an example of a company that's been a successful disruptor, like going back into the 90s when I think they first came out, Amazon. Now they're like a big company, but when they first started, nobody was really doing the online stuff that way or selling books like that. So you can disrupt an industry and then actually lead the industry. So this is your chance to kind of come up with a new and a better way to do it, because the old systems are broken and breaking and not working anymore. So innovation, really important right now. You can't stick with the old stuff. Repackage your skills, repackage what you can do, and try a new road, okay? And now we're gonna do a wild card that kind of leads us towards the star, and then we'll meditate. You're right, I do cover everything. Thank you. I really try to help you guys with all of that. So we have Son of Wands here, which is the Knight of Wands, and this is movement. So are you gonna take that and move forward? So this is like the Olympian that has the torch and is running. It's not just about having it, you have to take it and then light it. Like, I kind of feel like what we're looking at in January is that final phase where the Olympic torch is there, but you're carrying the little one. And so what we're seeing here with these are, this is your insight, this is your energy, but you got one more little piece to go. Are you going to light the flame? Are you going to go to the next step? Or are you going to hold yourself back because of fear, doubt, or uncertainty? Don't hold yourself back. The worst that will happen is that you might have to kind of like do a little course correction, a little edit here or there, and then you can try it again. But this is basically saying, just like wands are magic, by the way. So that when I look at like any of these particular court cards, because they really focus on the wands, less on the person carrying it, to me, I see magic. So you take something and you put it out there, it's magic. But you have to believe in it. That's the only way magic works. So if you believe that what you're doing can work, it will work. If you don't, it won't. So keep staying elevated in your thoughts and good things will happen. All right. Let's go ahead and meditate. Before I do that, I'd like to take a quick moment and just kindly ask you to like and subscribe. It helps a lot, spreads the word, and with your assistance, I can continue to grow. So I appreciate it. Let's go ahead now and meditate. Just get into a comfortable place. I want to work with the Fireflies tonight because they came through in meditation, and we'll use the star as well since it came through in the cards. So beautiful imagery tonight. As I said earlier, I'd love for you to join me on New Year's Eve as well. I'm going to be doing a special reading with the collective. I usually will look at a few things. I'll look at where we're at that moment in time, and then I'll pull some cards for the new year. And then we'll work on some stuff like calling in love. I'll probably take a look at relationships. It's kind of an unscripted sort of thing. So each collective reading is a little bit different. But I do want to focus on abundance and love because I think we need some of that this year. That's coming through. All right. So close your eyes. See yourself in a beautiful sort of evening setting. If you want to imagine that you're like at the beach or in the forest, both of those would work for this, or maybe at the top of a mountain, just so that you can see a clearing and you can see the sky. So as you are in your preferred setting, I want you to find a place where you can sit or lay down and look up for a moment at the stars above you, and also take a moment to look around you at the edge of the beach or the forest as you see all the fireflies starting to light up. And one thing that I remember from my time on the East Coast was that they would kind of go up and they would light up sometimes. It was almost as if they were shooting in the opposite direction. So imagine that you are starting to kind of like ride the energetic wave of these fireflies, and you can feel they have that beautiful greenish yellow energy. So it's kind of a combination of the heart and the solar plexus coming through. So imagine that those two parts of your energy system are starting to light up. And just like the fireflies, you can see your own energy glowing. With each breath that you take, you see this beautiful greenish, yellowish light surrounding your body. Energy of power and passion. Thank you, fireflies, for reminding us that we have both of those energies at our disposal. So see that energetically starting to kind of trace itself through your body. Allow your physical body to stay grounded and really feel that you are supported by the earth, almost as if the planet's giving you this little hug and holding your body right where it needs to be. But now allow for your heart and your solar plexus energies to pull you spiritually higher, and see yourself starting to go up into the sky just like the fireflies do. And as you start to do that, you take on whatever color you would like. If you want to stay in that greenish yellow light, that's actually good for bringing in love and power and independence. If you want to create some other sort of balance in your life, you can see that color coming into your sort of spectrum as well. And now allow yourself to continue to rise up so that you can now see not just this sort of area that you're at, but maybe the whole earth itself. You can start to kind of take a look back. You're just at the edge of our atmosphere, and you can see the curvature of the planet. You can see whatever city that you're in. You can see the continent that you're on, and allow yourself now to turn your gaze towards the stars around you. Take a moment to think, how did I get here, and why did I come to this planet? What am I trying to do again? Because if I can remember why I was here or what I want to do, then I can be more powerful. My light can shine brighter. So from this distance, just above the planet, just above the atmosphere, to the point that you can just sort of see the atmosphere, and maybe even sort of see an aurora borealis at the pole area. I want you to kind of figure out, because you're out of body, out of planet, what your purpose is. And as I play the singing bowl, I want you to really start to solidify how you're going to create like a tapestry, a plan, how you're going to start to weave in a way to get back in that path. And as we see, and as we saw in this card here, sometimes that path can be a winding one. So don't beat yourself up if there's been some twists and turns. Just kind of put it in your third eye, put it in your heart, see your body there. And I want you to bring that energy and broadcast it from your higher self into your body. And so that you don't forget these messages. All right. So just relax, see yourself as creating and moving energy. And you're almost like the satellite up there, pushing the energy and pushing the vision into your body. See yourself shining as you do that. You can also send a little blessing to the planet as well. Take a deep breath. Trust in the vision that you received. Trust that you are enough. Trust that you can do this. And as you exhale, allow yourself to gently move back through the atmosphere, looking up at the stars as you're doing this, gently moving towards your heart space. I want you to re-enter your body in the heart, see the fireflies around you kind of dancing and celebrating. And as you come back into your body, you can take your hands, rub them together, reminding yourself of the power that you have to create, the flame that you have within, the fire that you just rediscovered. Put your left hand on your heart, your right hand on top of that. Make a promise to yourself that you're going to do something to make this dream or this vision of your life purpose come through, knowing that it may not happen overnight, but taking a step each and every day is a part of your journey for the year ahead. And let's just try to commit collectively that we're going to make it a better year, because we have that choice collectively to make it better. So we learned a lot. Some of these lessons we all need to kind of move beyond, and it's time for something brighter and lighter. So let's collectively make that happen. And that's it for today. I'd like to take a moment just to say thank you. It was a really beautiful reading. They've all been beautiful this month, actually, and that's because of all of you, and because I really do feel like there's a positive shift that's happening, and we're all a part of that. If you liked any part of what you saw today, like, subscribe, share. You are wonderful advocates, and you help me help other people and reach other people. So that's one of the easiest and best ways that you can make a difference, and I just want to say thanks for doing that. And it's free. The word subscribe is a misnomer. It really just means thank you, support, tune in. If you would like to follow me on media and everything, I'm going to go through everything. It's on my website, so I just want to put the address up. nicholasashbaugh.com is my official website, and you can get there by clicking on my picture and the About tab, and all of these links will be actually on that page, so don't worry if you can't remember the spelling or where to go. Just click my picture, click that tab, it will be there. Thank you, everybody that did a super chat. I saw a few come through today, and I appreciate it. All of these decks that you saw here, the plant deck, these angel decks that I was using, and that star one, all of those 4 of them came from your funds. So thank you. And again, if you're watching this on a computer or on an Android, iOS not supported yet, you can use the applaud button, or you can just go to the website and click patron. And there's ways to do a one-time contribution, including PayPal, which is just my name again, paypal.me/Nicholas Ashbaugh. But if you don't know how to spell my name, just go to the website. It's better because it'll all be there. Thank you to my patrons and channel members. Everybody here that has the green text, they're supporting me every month. So I just want to say thanks. On social media, if you would like to get reminders and also some cool stuff, like I will, I take a picture of all of these cards that I go through and I post them on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and it's the channel tab here, or the membership tab here, and then just obviously on the main feeds here. And then I do something special with Twitter where I break out all the messages into individual tweets. So I try to do something cool on each social media platform. You can find me at my name on all of these. So Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Goodreads. And I just got verified actually on Facebook. So look for the blue check, and that's a good way to ensure that it's me. And yeah, again, everywhere else, it's just my name, first and last name. And on Instagram, it's basically just an Ashbaugh because of character limits. And that's everything. So like I said, I will be doing some collective readings in the months ahead. I think I'll just kind of be flexible on the formats and what is covered. But this month, we'll put a little bit of personal growth, a little bit of relationship energy, and definitely kind of like opening that key to the new year. It's a portal. Just like Halloween was, New Year's is totally a portal. So we'll be working with portal energy and trying to open things up a little bit. My newsletter, I spent all of yesterday writing that. So I've already sent it out for December, but if you want to go to my website, there's a tab at the top where you can get the newsletter. It's on the social link that my moderators have. And that's a great way to know when the new schedule is coming out and everything like that. So thank you so much, everyone. I really like what I saw. There were a lot of aces. There were a lot of really positive cards, and I keep getting star energy. So this is a time to rise up and to rise to the occasion and to change. So with like the world and the star for the newsletter that came through and all this other stuff, I really feel like we are creating our own better tomorrow. So it's important to do that. Stay elevated, stay positive, stay safe. It's Sunday. I'll be back tomorrow on Monday. And let's see, I'll be doing Cancer next, right? So you can look at the whole schedule on my website. I always broadcast on the same days, unless it's a special one like the collective. So I'm typically always broadcasting on Sundays and Mondays and Thursdays and Fridays. So you can basically look at the social media sites to know what I'm going to be doing those days. But if you just want to come and tune in for the beginning or the end or just the whole thing, there's always messages for everyone. Feel free. I'm here at least 12 times a month, sometimes more. All right, everyone, take care. Lots of love and light. Thanks again to Ryan and Maria for your help today and everybody for showing up. Have a great weekend, what's left of it. Have a great month and have a great new year. All right, bye. Thank you.